Yeah.
Yeah, it was short.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for the prayer. We lift up our sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and guardsmen, police and fire rescue. Also, in these days, our code enforcement officers into your loving care. Protect our nation from that is evil. Guide our way through these difficult times. Amen.
We will start off with roll call. Mr. Braun.
Here.
Chair is here. Ms. Borelli.
Here.
Mr. Gordon.
Here.
Mr. Cannon.
Present.
Mr. Swan.
Here.
Mr. Fagioli.
Here.
Right, and let the record show Mr. Resnick's not arrived yet. First is citizens' participation. If you have comments regarding agenda items, you can approach the podium. Please give your name and address.
Hi, my name's Kristen Burns. I know I was here last month, and I promise I'm not here to be a troublemaker. Just after I left, there were a couple things when I went home, and I just thought, wait, that doesn't make sense. I have to go back. And I did invite some of my neighbors here in the back, just because I'm not the only one unhappy about it. There's a lot of people unhappy about it. And half of the neighbors that couldn't make it are even unhappy. But I just came to kind of get some answers with, first of all, I just have a question with this park and mobile thing that we got in the mail. Timmy, you might be able to answer.
It's a council
Or-
issue. Who's addressing
Okay.
it?
I'm not sure, but it says the pay period from 9 to 9. So what exactly does that mean? That nobody can park there, we can't park there from 9 to 9, even paying?
Let me see what you're, I don't know what you're talking about.
Pay period would refer to the meter time if you didn't have a permit. If you were.
Okay. That's what, okay. So in other words, if you don't have a permit, you can't park there from 9 to 9. That's, at first I thought you were letting us park there from 9 to 9, and I thought that was great. I think my neighbors thought that was great, because we all are working people, and that would work out. But then I found that it's a pay period that you can't park there from 9 to 9. So last month, you had mentioned about the businesses on Springfield Road and Baltimore Pike and the Legion that had events. When I brought up, how about us getting an overnight permit, maybe, a special permit for overnight for the residents? And I was told that there's the Legion and Springfield Road and Baltimore Pike, the businesses have events there, and sometimes till 1 o'clock in the morning, and they need to be able to park there. Okay, that's fine, but let's go back to here. There's no parking, and they don't have permits. So what gives them a right, not being residents, to be able to park there till 1 o'clock in the morning? That was one of my questions that doesn't make sense to me or my neighbors, okay? You're allowing strangers to go to a party till 1 o'clock in the morning and park there and take our spots up, but we're not allowed to get a permit that we're willing to pay for? Okay, so that was the one thing I would like to get an answer on. Also, what's the 24-hour limit? There's a 24-hour limit parking, but if you can't park there from 9 to 9, where are you getting your 24-hour limit? That I also didn't understand. I don't know, and maybe it's just me, and I'm just hoping you guys can explain it to me to just help answer, some questions that we all have. We all have these answers. Okay, so that's that. So I get it, if there's events going on and there's a way, I don't know how they're parking for free and we're not allowed to, but if that's happening, why can't we get like an overnight permit or something to park there? I guarantee you they're not having events till 1 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. I can see maybe a Friday and a Saturday night. Okay, that's fine. Can't we get it during the week, have a special residential parking or maybe residential on one side of the street? Because I have neighbors back here that are home during the day that watch people, including me, I work during the day, but including me, watch people parking on the side of the street, taking up our spots and walking down the Baltimore Pike. I mean, back here, if you can raise your hands, you guys have all said it, that you see it all the
Okay.
time.
All right.
Okay, they do it.
All right,
Yeah.
your time is expired, but are you able to answer a few of your questions, or do you want to do it during the manager's report?
Throw it out there, what else you have, because let's just wrap it up.
Okay, there's not,
Let's just do it all in one shot, if you don't mind.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Totally fine. You had the driveways. That's how you determine permits. You gave, I don't know how many permits, but you counted driveways. How many people back here have a driveway with more than one car? That you're also being affected by it. I don't have a driveway, but I have 5 cars, okay? And I know you guys all say, not all of you, but I hear, oh, well, our street, we don't have the parking either. We don't have the parking, blah, blah, blah. You never had the parking. It was always like that when you lived there. We had the parking lot. You took it away from us. You took away the permits. From 1986, I've been buying permits. I don't mind buying 5 cars, getting my money. But now you have people parking up at the top of the street, 2 blocks away. Cars are being vandalized in the parking lot now. Just this past week, they're being vandalized. Right now, 3:30 in the morning, the other night, a car was dropped off. No license, no registration, no inspection. It's still sitting there. I get it. People are busy, but you guys are ticketing us like day in and day out, yet this car is sitting there. And one last thing, there's a brown van in our parking lot. Now, I know whose van it is. He doesn't live on Walnut Street, and he doesn't live on Springfield Road. But his van's parked there because his son lives on Springfield Road. Now, does his son also have a permit, and he got a permit for his father? How does he get 2 permits? Because he's parking in the parking lot every night also. And one last thing, how many of you guys have gotten tickets, Renisha alone, over and over, that had permits? No, but
That's
I
fine.
know, people that
Is
have.
there any other
permits.
questions?
So,
That's what I'm
no,
trying
that's
to
a question. So if
Okay.
you could answer that, that would be great. My neighbors would love to
Right,
hear the
thank you.
answers.
do. 1 and 2.
Going back to front, the people who got parking tickets that have permits, nobody has had to pay a fine, correct?
No, but.
They've all been rectified.
Yeah,
is
it's
my
an
point.
inconvenience because.
Well, yeah, again, and since everybody's here does that, it can be very easily rectified if you just call the police department. You don't have to stop by, you don't have to bring a ticket in,
But I've
just
had
call.
6 tickets, I've had to call several different times.
Okay, but again, it's a learning curve for everybody involved, including the company we're dealing with, including my officers. So, I mean, we're trying to reduce that. But I don't think a phone call is a major inconvenience, and I apologize for it.
But I've had to come off of work to get tickets taken off. I've actually had to take off of work, maybe 3 times. And I've no Peggy. Because every time I walk in there, Peggy takes them off.
I don't know about that, but,
I have to be at work before you guys open, which means that I have to be at work at 8:30. I have to wait until you guys open and then bring the tickets to Peggy.
you don't have to bring them, you just call us.
Yeah, but that's 6 times.
I know, but you don't have to come in, you don't take off of work, I'm just saying.
Let's focus on the answers.
Okay. We are working with the vendor to increase the accuracy of the white list. I just had an email exchange with them today. That's where that problem is. I don't know how many permits we have out there now, 11, 12 permits. And they were supposed to have a white list, which they did have, and then it's for technical reasons, it's not coming up on our handhelds. So I am working to rectify that. The other issues, I think, are all council issues, whether or not you want to
So
expand.
the 24-hour means that's everywhere. You can't sit there and book into another 24-hour period. No matter where you're at. You can't get on your handheld and say, reserve.
Right,
That's
well, you
what the
can't
24
anyway,
that's what
because
the
there's only
24
12
hours,
hours that you're allowed to park.
The 9 to 9 is if you're in there and you go 9, it's the overnight stuff. So if they get there at midnight, there's a car sitting there and they run the handheld and clicked in at 9, before 9. And those are out of there, they can't be overnight.
Okay,
Okay, so they close at 2:00 at the Legion and they're out, that's fine. Before 9:00, if you're signed in and the car's there, but you can't be a car overnight.
okay,
That's
so
what
if anybody pays for a permit at 9 o'clock
Mhm.
and they're there till 2, they can pay up till 2, is what you're saying.
They pay up till 9, but as long as they're clocked in before 9. Same with the Legion, 7:30 for whatever, or they went to the place here on the Baltimore
Okay.
Pike, and they're clocked in.
Right,
After 9, it won't take the money, but they gotta be out of there, they can't stay overnight. It's not an
right, so you have to
overnight.
be out there by what time?
It's, like, what would you say, Tim? It can't be overnight, so 9 to 9.
Yeah, we have the signs that
There's a sign there, I can't think
they're
of it.
not installed yet.
They're not
It's,
installed.
10 o'clock is the overnight parking.
That's what I wanted to know,
Right.
10
Yeah.
o'clock, so they have to be out by 10.
Well, no, if they paid prior to that, we're not making them leave their event to leave.
Okay,
Is what Tom's saying. If
Say they
paid
dump the
before
event
expiration.
over here
Okay,
on
so
the
you're
corner,
saying-
maybe in the corner we have that problem, over here on Baltimore.
right, right,
They dump out at 1:30. Our guys go around, or Tim's guys go around there at 4 in the morning, there's 6 cars sitting there, and they're not
got it,
permanent.
but they're not being
Not
ticketed
permanent,
from,
they'll get a ticket.
okay.
Tickets
And
on
you
time.
have
they
to-
get tickets.
Are tickets issued, or they, because my future daughter-in-law got a ticket, was on her windshield, she went to pay it, and she noticed two other tickets from prior dates that she never got a ticket for. So when you ticket, I thought there's an actual
There is an
ticket.
accident. That's
I don't
that's a
know,
ticket.
I can't answer why. she-
Okay, I was just curious,
Yeah, I
but she
mean,
would have never known that she got
Take
2 other tickets.
Whether somebody removed it, or whatever the case may be, put it on another car so that it made it look like a deviate to another car.
And seriously, I don't mean to be a troublemaker, I just, things just didn't make sense, and my neighbors, and it's just a fiasco, it really is.
So.
I
no
know you
question.
said you're trying to work on things.
We are. So here is it.
Go
But
ahead.
the council, Bruce and Counter, the 2 council people there, and the mayor and the president, have all discussed these. It's not
And I
like we
love
just-
them.
I swear we're getting there.
I just want to know, on the permit, what, for residents, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think about that for hour wise? That's overnight parking.
Yeah, I mean. if
That's
we-
overnight for how many
So we
residents do you want? What's
would
the
love an
residents?
overnight parking back
What's their
there.
feelings on that, for permit parking?
Wait, what's that?
$100 right now to get a permit.
We just need more parking spots.
How many parking spots do we have now for them?
I'll tell you, every night that parking lot is empty. Every day the parking lot is empty unless it's, like on a Sunday, the Legion.
Well, that's, you're
However
right on
many
that part.
people-
There is times I've passed there, because I live right there, and
I
I see
know,
that. And then sometimes I see that place is packed.
right,
Yeah.
probably
there's
something's going on
something
when they're
going
at
on,
Yummies and
and-
not paying the
And
tickets
that's,
and throwing
and
the trash.
that helps the borough with the, income. You gotta consider that, to help us that way.
I know there's quite a few
You know,
people that
I
would
mean-
pay for overnight parking. I don't know a number.
What does the neighbors feel about, overnight parking and a permit? How much fee, and then you get your spots. How many spots do you think that you need, the whole parking lot or what?
No,
All right, how many you need? You gotta approach and let us know what you want.
two there, one there, one there, one there, one there,
How
one
many's
there,
that? That's about what,
3
10?
here.
gonna guess at least 20.
Yeah.
At least.
10 of them?
Yeah, but how many per house too?
It's
Two.
10, there's 40 some parking spots.
Right, but how many people per house are they trying to get
If we
permits
can
for
park on the
also?
street, we'll park on the street. Our problem
Yeah.
is, we just don't have the room.
But she said she has 5.
I mean, I don't wanna take up any more of your time, but
I just want to get an idea of what everybody
I can
wants.
go get a number. I'll knock on the doors like I knock on the doors to get them to
All
come
right,
here.
and you're saying that there's people that understand this, it's not going to the parking lot to pay it and park in the street and take up the parking spots of the residents.
Wait, say it again, why?
The people that live there, right?
Yeah,
Lose a parking spot because other people don't go to the parking lot to pay, they have free parking right there. Isn't that the case?
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you.
Any other
Yeah,
public participation?
I mean, I've been here a few times. I've been here a few times discussing the same.
Can I get your name and address just for
Yeah.
the record, please?
It's David Philippo.
Thank you.
19 North Springfield Road. We're just kind of dumbfounded on the whole thing because the process was, before this happened, was we were able to park in that lot. We were able to buy permits for numerous cars. And I expressed the stress on the neighborhood. We've already had people arguing over parking spots. One poor lady came over to my house, she was shaking, she didn't know what to do. Okay? This is the things that are gonna happen. And we try to tell you this. And you think we're just acting like little spoiled brats or something because we always had parking spots. But the neighborhood is congested, it's like every other thing. And you're here to serve your constituents. That's what we're asking for. We don't want the moon, we don't want the stars, we just want a little something that we had before all this happened. It's that simple. It's not very difficult. We're not acting like spoiled children. This is a major inconvenience for all families in our neighborhood.
Dave, we're not saying you're wrong in the areas you are, but we gotta accommodate. The other
I
people have
understand you keep saying
Let me
about
finish.
businesses.
I mean, you gotta let accommodation for the Legion and stuff like that for the people that park.
Okay,
All
I've been there
right,
38
you
years.
can't take
and
over the
it's-
whole
I
park.
understand that, but I've been there 38 years, and it
I know
always,
how long
it
you've been
happened
there.
before that.
I
It was
know.
always fine, there was always a harmony there.
Yeah.
You just keep pointing at these new businesses that are
There were
there.
new
They were
businesses
there,
before
they've been
this.
there. We've seen them come up in the weekends and park in the parking lot, and when their event's over, they leave the parking lot. And we come back in and park in it. We're not like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to tell me what's going on in my neighborhood that I've been in for 38 years.
You're trying to tell me that
Literally,
too.
yeah, I'm
I've
telling
been
you
in there
what
for-
goes on in my neighborhood for
I know
38
what
years.
goes on there.
You
I'm
know,
from there.
you're not that connected to it. You're really not.
No.
You're not, because
Yeah,
you
I
live
don't
on
think-
another block. You're really not.
No.
You're honestly not.
I've been here 62 years, so I got a little bit more than you, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
But you don't live-
Thank
no
you.
one's calling you babies and all that. I mean,
No.
they
This is
just,
not
Dave,
necessary.
I have not heard.
this is not
anybody say-
necessary at
to be
all.
clear, I have not heard anybody say no. The council's been with us, and I have tried to work it. We ask a question, you come up with, give me 12, give me 20, give me whatever. There's no happy medium.
Okay, what I'll do is
That's
I'll
what we're
knock
trying
on
to do.
every door. Is that what you want me to do?
Well, knock on every door, everyone's gonna say, I want a parking spot. I mean, that's-
Well,
so
that's it.
what's the happy medium?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's
That's
your
why we're
job to
having a
figure that
conversation.
out. That's why you're up
We
here.
have figured out, you don't like the answer, that's the question.
Well, the answer is, it's not, the answer is nothing. Because like the overnight parking might relieve
So
the problem.
with 10 do it, with 10 do it.
Who?
10
I
extra
don't
spaces.
know that.
Okay, so if we fix 10, the next week or come back, that's what they're looking at.
Right.
Give us an opportunity to look at it and figure it
Okay,
out.
well,
That's all we're asking.
well, that's all we're asking.
Okay, we're getting
Fairness
there.
there in our neighborhood back. That's all. We just want the harmony in our neighborhood. That's all. We don't want people getting all stressed out because now it's getting nice. And people are gonna start screaming at people. They're gonna start arguing over parking spots if you're not supposed to park there. And it's all gonna happen. I'm just letting you know. And I
Right
told you
now,
that
I can
before.
tell you 8
I
right
told you
now,
that
just
before.
for this room. Definite 8, and that's not
That's all I
even
got to
counting the people that couldn't make it here.
say.
Probably, I know more, but I can tell you definite 8.
Okay. Any other members of the audience? Okay. Moving on. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the February 18th council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Can we also let the record show that Mr. Resnick has arrived? So, next, we will move on to our reports of borough officers. We'll start with the financial advisor.
Thank you, Madam President. You all have received the financial statements and the cash reports. Any questions I'm here to answer?
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial advisor's report and pay the bills.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman seconded. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan? Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next is the police chief's report.
I have nothing further to add, other than my written report.
Any questions for the chief? All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the police chief's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Borelli seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next is the fire chief's report.
I have nothing to add to my written report.
Okay. Any questions for the fire chief? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the fire chief's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Braun made the motion. Mr. Gorman, would you like to second?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next is the engineer's report.
Thank you, Madam President. The passive park improvements out front here for the parking lot, the contractors indicated that they will be done within 2 weeks. So we will have a punch list completed by the end of this week so that we can clean that up and get that completed. The sanitary sewer cleaning contract, ADU Services has been issued his notice of award for the 4-year cleaning contract. We're awaiting his insurance and bond documents to execute those contracts. And the school construction, a meeting scheduled tomorrow with PennDOT to discuss the improvements, sequence of construction, and the project schedule. And I will keep the borough manager informed after that meeting. Unless there's questions, that's all I have to report.
Any questions for Mr. Kelly? I'll entertain a motion to accept the engineer's report.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Borelli made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Fagioli seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we have the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Other than what I had at the workshop meeting, there's a couple of items on there, the resolution amending the administrative regulatory fees for contract, for construction, and the multimodal transportation fund grant reimbursement are things that we've worked with the manager on. And I'll certainly defer, they're listed in his report, and happy to answer any questions at that time.
Any questions for the solicitor? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the solicitor's report. All
So moved.
right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Swan seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have community development and code enforcement.
Thank you, Madam President. I have no additions to my prepared report.
Any questions for Mr. Gould? All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the community development and code enforcement report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Cannon seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we have the manager's report.
Thank you, Manager. We have a motion to approve a resolution amending administrative regulatory fees for general building, plumbing, mechanical, HVAC, and electrical permits. Our current ordinance does not have a cap on it. So in other words, normally we have buildings like R2K Shopping Center was a $5 million project. Take the number, it's so many $1,000 per each $100,000 that you use, that they're building on. The problem is if you have a $92 million school going in, there's no cap. It just keeps escalating out. And to be equivalent to what we've already done with other buildings, JP and John, myself, came up with a formula that's fair and equitable so we don't end up in trouble with the people who we've already charged for fees against building costs that have already been existing. A lot of the development that's been going on in the last 5 years here. To be fair and equitable with them, we come up with a formula that kind of staggers it so it drops down to $3 to $2.50, $2.50 to $2, all the way down to $1. And that is the basis of the ordinance. I think John can explain from the regulatory standpoint that we believe it's meets all the statutory requirements from. John.
Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, obviously this is, we're doing this in consideration of the school project because we've never had a $100 million project. So when, our permit fees, as well as every other municipality, is based on basically a percentage. Our percentage is 4%. So for a remodel of a bathroom at $20,000, that's a reasonable fee. But when you get and climb into the tens of millions of dollars, the permit fee for the school is, we calculated it out, would be, $4 million, which is, almost as much as what the general fund budget for the borough is. So fees are not taxes. They cannot generate so-called profit for the borough. They must somehow reasonably relate to what your expenses are for whatever you're doing for that project. So, knowing that we really couldn't justify a $4 million building permit fee, we looked to tier it where we would maintain the 4%, from $1,000 up through $5 million, but then drop it down that from after you get to $5 million to $40 million, it would be 3%, and then above $40 million up to $75 million, it would be 1%. And then above $75 million up to a cap of $100 million, it would be 0.25%. So we think that that's reasonable. I've looked at a number of other municipalities and, where there's larger construction that will go on, about how they handle it, as well as other places where there's been school construction to see what they, how it compares. And we think this is comparable, and for the school district, actually probably a little bit lower than places like Haverford or Ridley or other places where they've done some school construction, Interborough, those sorts of places. So we're recommending this to council to amend our existing fee schedule to adopt this resolution.
So Madam Chair, I'm looking for a motion for that approval.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025, do we have a number?
I'm not sure.
2025-5, amending the administrative and regulatory fees for general building, plumbing, mechanical, HVAC, and electrical permits.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman seconded. Do we need a roll call, or should we just do?
A roll call vote.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you. The next will be a motion to approve the allocation of the ARPA funds grant for round 2 to nonprofit organizations. Council recalls back after 2021, the federal government issued out the American Recovery Funds, rescue funds, and Out of that, we received $747,000. Council allocated $100,000 to organizations that are nonprofit 501c3s in the borough, and relative to where they were at a certain point, date certain, I believe it was the end of 2022, and then at the end of 23, coming into 23, what the lost revenue that they had previous the year before COVID, 1 full year on their books. That dollars came into us. We applied, I think we had 8 or 7 applicants that qualified, that requested it. We divided that into 100,000, and the percentage of what their loss was, I think it was $859,000 in the borough that was lost. Each of the individual organizations received an allotment from the borough. In that ordinance that we passed, we were looking at doing a second round if need be. We've heard from a lot of the organizations, some of the organizations, that they fully have not recovered. Whether it's our banquet hall hasn't been gridded again, our membership is down, costs have gone up, we used a lot of our capital funds to be able to continue to operate, or we would have been out of business. Those kind of items have come to surface. Council asked at the caucus meeting, Council previous said it asked me to look at the president and the mayor. I talked it over, we looked at it, we brought it up to council last month, or 2 weeks ago. And we have come up with a program to allocate the additional $100,000 from ARPA. And basically, it's a grant application similar to the one we did prior, where the organization has to take the application, go to their membership, submit to us their bylaws from the organization, who's eligible to sign at the borough, submittal of their 2023 and 24 profit and loss statements, and then 2021 and 22 profit and loss statements. That'll be given to our financial fiscal firm, which will evaluate that to make sure it's accurate and true. Basically, they're looking at their filings to the federal government, so that will be accurate positions. And then from there, we'll do a mathematical calculation like we did previously and allocate equally the funds distributed to each organization, probably in the May or June timeframe, depending on what it is. The applications will be ready this Friday, and we're looking to have them back by April or by May 1st. We're hoping that every organization has a meeting in that timeframe. We're not sure. Last time we had a organization that may have had to go further, and we had to delay it because their bylaws called for introduction 1 month and approval the following month. If that's the case, we'll make sure we're not cutting anybody off. We'll leave it open, and I'll certainly report back to council as it goes through. So based on just for safety, for documentation purposes, we already had this approved back 2 years ago, whatever. I just like to reaffirm that we're reallocating $100,000 of the ARPA funds that's already earmarked for this purpose.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the allocation of ARPA fund grants for round 2 of nonprofit organizations.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Ms.
I'm sorry, Madam President. I'm sorry to jump in. I guess I probably should have caught it before. Can I just make a recommendation that the motion to be to approve the, encumbrance. It may sound silly, but
Okay.
the federal rule, I believe, is that the funds must be encumbered.
Encumbered. Okay. All right.
Rather than allocated. And there is a difference between encumbering something and allocating something. So I apologize. I should have spoke up before, but I would just recommend that the motion be to approve the encumbrance of the ARPA funds.
Okay. So a motion to approve the encumbrance of the ARPA funds grant round 2 for nonprofit organizations.
Can
I'll entertain a motion.
I ask a short question?
Yes.
John, just so it had to be encumbered, this money was encumbered previous to 2008, before the January 1, right?
Yes, and
They
we're
looking
just
at it that way?
and we're just basically
Right.
sort of redoing this to
Okay.
get just council double stamp of approval on it, but I don't want there to be an issue where,
Money should have been encumbered already by the
Right, it was.
And it was.
Right,
Okay.
so are we saying encumbered or encumbrance? Is there a difference?
Encumbered.
Okay.
to approve, well, the way it's a motion to approve the encumbrance of the ARP funds. The funds would be encumbered.
Convert, right, okay.
I just want to be consistent.
They're very, I'm good, they're very technical on how that.
I want to be consistent using that term in case the federal government comes
Right.
back and looks at it.
I just want to make sure. We have the minutes to prove.
Encumbered.
Convert.
So a motion to approve the encumbered ARPA funds for round 2 of nonprofit organizations.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Berman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh. Mr. Swan seconded. We'll do roll call. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Next up on the,
Next one.
we have a motion to approve smart energy. As you know, in caucus, I brought up that our electric bill has increased over the years like everyone else's. We went out and shopped it, and Karen Consulting came back with a supplier, Smartest Energy, for a savings over a 48-month period of roughly about $2,400 in savings. So that's where we're at. So we want to, motion to approve Smartest Energy Sales Agreement.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Smartest Energy Sales Agreement.
Make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Braun seconded. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Next one is a motion to approve the multimodal transportation fund grant reimbursement agreement for highway and bridge projects between the Borough of Clifton Heights and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. This is one of the multimodal grants along Springfield Rail Corridor, in 1.3 million, 1.7 million, and another $200,000.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the Multimodal Transportation Fund Grant Reimbursement Agreement for highway and bridge projects between the Borough of Clifton Heights and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Department of Transportation.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cannon seconded. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
All I have.
Any questions for the borough manager? All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the manager's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Swan made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Gorman seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we have our council reports. Mr. Swan.
I don't have that.
Okay. Mr. Resnick?
I have nothing.
All right. Mr. Fagioli?
This spring starts Thursday. So we do a little cleanup in the neighborhoods. That's it.
Okay. Mr. Cannon?
We're having a meeting tomorrow between the second ward and I believe the mayor and president of the council to discuss what's going on. And along with the contractors bringing in the,
Thursday.
list of equipment
Thursday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To show us what they have in mind. And then after that, we've invited the, neighbors of the second ward, but anyone could come to see what's going to happen up at Diamond Street and to offer some, as it were, help and ideas. So just want to let everyone know that.
Anything else?
Anything else, John? Anything else?
No, that's it.
You're good?
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. No problem. I didn't want to keep moving. Mr. Braun?
I have nothing.
Ms. Borelli?
To piggyback off Mr. Fagioli with spring starting, I would like to thank John Gould and his team for staying on top of everybody's property and things like that, because it's been getting crazy over in the third ward.
Very windy.
So thank you.
Michael.
Okay. All right. So the egg hunt is officially set for Sunday, the 13th of April at 1 p.m. We're going to have it at 300 North Glenwood Avenue because of the work being done at Diamond Street. We didn't want the kids to get all muddy if it's damp out. The bunny's ready, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody. And Mr. Gorman, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Mayor?
My name's not even. Thank you, Madam President. This year, we are going to feature our own Hometown Hero banners at the annual Boroughs Conference. Anyone that's interested in their mom or dad to go to that conference, we're going to need a picture. Please submit it to my office by May the 1st. As mentioned before, first day of spring is this Thursday, March the 20th. So please have all your yard waste and leaves must be placed on the curbside and other vegetation from spring cleaning that you're doing. You can put these in cans or biodegradable paper bags. Collection dates are in the calendar, so just check the calendar for that. Our next e-cycle is next month, April the 26th. It's going to be held at Alden Borough parking lot, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. As mentioned before, the egg hunt is April the 13th. Just look out for your mailers. If you don't get a mailer, please let the borough know so we can get you one out, and then we'll know, basically who got them and who didn't. That is it for me. Thank you, Madam President.
Any old business to come before the body? Any new business? All right, we will have our closing public participation. Anyone can approach the podium. Please give your name and address.
I'm Callahan, 275 Woodbridge. Is there any update on the driveway?
Yeah, as soon as I let it broke, we'll get
Okay.
it.
And two, are we working
There'll
on
be I
any?
said it before, there'll be a letter out long before. We put the one letter out, we just have to get the second.
Okay, people are asking
Yeah,
if they
sure.
got it in February and,
Probably a good,
And are we working on any backup plan in case Crozier does close?
yes. So, I'm on a call tomorrow for ALS,
Okay,
right, at 1 o'clock. And the chief is,
Yeah,
the mayor, Suzanne, myself, the chief, we're in constant communication. A lot of it's out of our own control, but
right.
we'll do the best.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
All right.
Wow, that was quick.
Did we get a second?
Yes, we do.
Who's that?